Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to come to you this afternoon to give you an update on the council meeting, to kind of let you know where we're at. Sorry it took me so long. I've got kind of tied up and just now able to get this video out. I meant to do it on Wednesday after the council meeting, but we started out with some unfinished business. We were able to come to an agreement on the language in the ambulance contract with Medic One, and it's been approved. So now we're going to have the contract with Medic One. It's not anything that the city has to pay. It's just it's helping our citizens have more coverage with ambulances. They have agreed that they'll have two ambulances in the city limits, uh, stationed here and based here, and so it just gives us two ambulances instead of one. And then there's a few other things in the contract. You're more than welcome to, you can come by here and get a copy of that contract and be fine if you want to get a copy of it and read it. Um, the next thing up was every year we have to pass a resolution for extending the tax millage for the next year's tax books. The same thing we've done the last several years. Nothing has changed on that. We just we got that resolution passed and got it sent over to the county so that they can carry that on. That's just one of those tax laws that we have to follow and all cities have to follow. The next up was Resolution 1263, which is our 2025 budget. It was approved, and basically it's going to give uh, our employees a 3.2% cost of living raise, which is the national cost of living increase, along with our fire department getting a little bit bigger raise to kind of help catch them up closer to the police department. Um, Also allowing us to pay off a roll-off truck that came, the lease was up on it, and it's a good truck, so we decided just to pay it off instead of releasing it or renewing the lease. Then doing that is saving the city about $9,000 by just paying it off. So we've done that, and then we're working on some more infrastructure and stuff. So it's kind of in there for water and sewer and all of that, all worked into the budget. Um, we again talked about the roll off truck. It was approved by the council to go ahead and pay it off. And then the next thing is, even though it was in the budget, it was approved. The budget was approved by law. Uh, any elected official has to have a resolution to approve any kind of raise, and the 3.2% COLA raise was included in there for the mayor's position, and it also had a second provision in there for an increase in vehicle allowance. Um, that's I have to go do a lot of driving. I have to go to Little Rock on several occasions per year. Hot Springs, wind. Like I explained, I'm on several boards, state boards that I have to go to meetings, and Paragould, Jonesboro. There's a lot of driving that has to be done, and anyway, the that was on the resolution, and the council um, did not approve that resolution, but they asked that the resolution would be split into two separate ones, one for the pay and one for the increase in the uniform or the vehicle allowance. So that's been done. It's ready for the next council meeting, and we'll bring it before the December council meeting. Also, we don't have to do it by resolution or ordinance. I can actually just give the increase on the contract for our legal counsel. But I like to keep our counsel informed on what's going on and what we do. I don't do things behind their back or hide stuff. So it was brought up to give our legal counsel an increase from 1655 a month to 1750 per month. And Mr. Gazaway does a lot of work for the city, and he does a great job, and he deserves that and even more, in all honesty. But the council approved that, and that will go into effect in January. The next was a resolution in 2023. We were awarded a $300,000 street grant that's going to allow us to have 2.6 miles of city street repaved, and it's our worst streets. So we're going to be able to get those done, but they're going to let the bid in January of 2025. And because of the cost of the rising cost of materials, they're saying that it's probably going to cost more than 300,000. And pardon me, and asked if we were willing to pay that extra if it goes over the 300,000. So the council, RDOT told us that, it could go as much as 337,000. And the council approved that we could go up to 37,000 to pay for the extra. And we'll get that done. Hopefully the prices will go back down and we'll be able to get those done for the 300,000 that was initially set in. Ordinance number 739 was the second reading for the food trucks and food truck court. Um, the council asked to suspend the rules and just read it, the second and third reading by title only. They agreed to do that, and it was read by title only in second and third reading, and it passed. So the ordinance for the food trucks and food truck courts and kind of regulates how they run is in effect, or will be in effect in 30 days from last Tuesday. Ordinance number 740, that is an alcohol ordinance. We brought it up last meeting, and there was some language that needed to be changed in it, and we made those changes. And actually what we did is we took Jonesboro, Fayetteville, and Camden along with the ordinance that we had written last meeting, and kind of went through all of those and combined, took the best parts out that worked for our city, combined them, and put them into one ordinance. And that ordinance was approved by the council. So we've got something now that's kind of regulating the sales of alcohol. Previously, the only thing we really had prior to this ordinance was anybody that sold alcohol could, if once they got their license and their permit, could only sell 5% or less by volume or by weight. And that's where it was at. The council wanted to raise that amount plus some other things, other stipulations that we put in on permitting and things like that. So it's a pretty good ordinance, and it was passed, and the emergency clause was passed, and it has gone into effect now. Ordinance number 741. Early last year, we amended several ordinances that dealt with franchise fees. Those ordinances showed franchise tax, and it's not a tax, so we had to amend those. Some of them we had to amend the names on who they were, like APNL is now Energy Arkansas. CenterPoint, actually it's not CenterPoint now, it's Summit. At that particular time it was another name. I can't remember now the name of it, but it's changed like 3 times since then. But anyway, this particular ordinance, the one for Energy Arkansas, their attorneys looked at it and asked that we would change the wording up a little bit. The ordinance is basically the same. They just changed the name from Energy to Energy Arkansas LLC. They changed one of the things where it said tax, it changed it to fee. And that was basically the changes. It's just some wording in there that they wanted changed. So we got that done. It was passed. Most every year we have a one-time pay increase in November. It's been approved for city employees. It was asked for that again. It's just a one-time check for this year, and for part-time, full-time, and elected employees. And that was approved as well. A few months ago, we discussed a deal with Performance Services. What this is for is for them to come in and do some research and study on putting new water meters in the rural areas and down in Painway, which we now own. And they're going to do the research to see how much water loss we have. I know when they did it for the city before they put the new meters inside the city limits, there was quite a significant water loss, and so we're going to do that and look forward to progressing into that and getting this straightened out because uh, actually, we have to, and I've explained this before, by 2026, we have to have a water rate study done. Once that water rate study is done, the state of Arkansas is going to require us to raise our water rates. And I've told you that before, and it's going to happen. I'm just get ready. It's not us, it's the state of Arkansas requiring it. But if we get these new meters in and they accurately read what our meters are, then if we do that before the rate study, then we're going to have a better number, and it should not have as big a rate or a bigger increase as it would have had it showing how much water was being used that wasn't actually being used, or what was being used that wasn't being paid for. So this will be a beneficial to all of the city, especially when we get our rate study done and we can get that taken care of. We're working on all that now. They're going to do the study. When they do, we'll bring it back to the council. They can look at it, and if it shows that it will pay for itself, literally, not over time, but literally, it'll pay for itself. Then we'll go that route and we'll make those changes. So with that, I pretty much, that was the end of it. I had the mayor's report. We had a long meeting, so I was kind of brief. The fire station is coming along real good. I went by there today and walked around. It's really looking good. They're thinking that they may be putting sheetrock on the walls on the inside by the end of this week, so that's great. Nursing home is going up rapidly and making great progress. With the negotiations with the plant and industrial park are about to wrap up, so we're hoping we can actually nail that down and make an announcement of exactly what it is, what they're doing, and the name and all of that stuff here in the next week or so. I'm hoping maybe a little bit longer than that, but we're pushing for that. The Christmas parade is December the 6th. And the Christmas festival and Christmas tree lighting will be on the 5th, and that will be held this year at the community center. The Christmas tree lighting we'll move the Christmas tree over to the community center instead of in Cedar Park. And then finally, I wanted to congratulate and continue to congratulate Mrs. Toddy, Ernie Link, John Paul Thompson, Billy Poe, and Candida Robinson on their election victories. And I want to thank the citizens for passing the staggered council terms. Again, like I told you before, it passed 65% to 35% for and against. And does that mean 35% of the people were wrong? No, exactly what I said before. That means 35% of the people were exactly right because they voted your conscience. You voted what you felt was right. And that's why we have this great country we live in now, because people can vote, and you should be able to vote what you think without having people getting mad at you and hating you. We got to come together. We got to work together. And just because things don't go the way we want them, we can't just start throwing our hands up and say I quit, or throwing our hands up and causing trouble and all of that. We got to work together. And so that being said, that's all I've got for you. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Praying for the city, and God bless each one of you.